Hello, and thank you for joining me for today's video from Tales from the Field. Today we will be taking a look at the desert. First, we'll talk about the different characteristics and types of deserts, and then we'll talk about some of the different ways that you can get involved with the animals that live in them. I've also included some links to day in the life type videos of professionals working with different types of desert animals in the description box below, so make sure to check them out to learn more. Also, make sure to stay tuned for today's video's secret code, as with each video in our Tales from the Field series, you can earn points and badges for our 2021 Tales and Tales Summer Reading Program. To learn more about our summer reading program, check out the link in the description box below. With the desert, there are a few defining characteristics. The first is extreme temperatures. These can reach upwards of 120 degrees Fahrenheit. And in some areas, it can then plunge to freezing or well below at night. There's also very low rainfall. They'll average about 20 inches or less a year. There's also going to be a really rocky topsoil. This can be as fine as sand, or it can be more coarse and gritty and just generally rocky. It's also very windy in the desert. This is because of the lack of tree coverage, which can result in sandstorms. And there's also very carefully adapted plants and animals. So for animals to be able to survive all of these extreme conditions, they have to have traits that allow them to manage well. So having traits that help them store water and manage the heat are very important. There are 4 different types of deserts. The first one is the hot and dry desert. This one is going to be warm and dry year-round. So think of classic deserts like the Sahara Desert or the Mojave Desert. Next, there's semi-arid deserts, which are going to be warm and dry in the summer, and then followed by a winter period with some rain. These semi-arid deserts can be found more commonly in areas like North America, Europe, and Asia. A good example of a semi-arid desert would be the Severe Desert in Utah. Next is the coastal deserts. These are going to have a more humid climate because they are by the coast, but they are still going to experience very rare rainfall. An example of that would be the Atacama Desert of Chile. And finally, there are cold deserts. So these are going to be freezing temperatures, but with still very rare precipitation. A good example of that would be the Arctic, but we had covered tundra environments previously in Tales from the Field. So for today's desert animals, we will be taking a look at the different types of animals that inhabit the hot and dry, semi-arid, and coastal type deserts. According to the UC Museum of Paleontology, there are relatively few large mammals in deserts because most aren't capable of storing enough water and withstanding the heat. There's also very little shelter from the sun for large animals. So the dominant animal types you'll see in warm deserts are going to be non-mammal vertebrates like reptiles. And the mammals you see will usually be small. So some types of desert animals will be camels, fennec foxes, echidnas, different types of tortoises, iguanas, chameleons, geckos, rattlesnakes, tarantulas, and scorpions are all some of the animals that can be found in these warm deserts. If you were interested in any of the types of animals in the deserts, there are a lot of different ways to get involved with them. Many resources will say that you need a science-heavy background to work with animals, and while this is true if you're interested in any of the hard science aspects of working with animals, you do want to keep in mind that there are a lot of other aspects and roles to fill when working with animals outside of the hard science. There's administrative, technical, outreach, and education roles to fill as well. So some different places you can look for positions with animals include with your government, either at the local, state, or federal level. Colleges and universities, also good opportunities. There's different areas within veterinary medicine, such as working with exotic type animals, if you were really interested in reptiles. There's also nonprofit organizations and private businesses that focus on these types of animals. And there are research, rehabilitation, education, and conservation roles to fill within all of these different career paths. And if you aren't ready to apply for a job just yet, you can always bookmark it to review later, and it'll also help give you a better idea of what sort of education or experience you need to work with those types of animals in that specific type of role. If you'd like to learn more about working with different types of desert animals, check out the links in the description box below. We have a very cool video going over all of the different types of career paths working with reptiles, as well as another cool video that details how to become a zookeeper. So thank you guys so much for joining me in today's video from Tales from the Field. The secret code for today's video is Desert Tales, so make sure to enter that in book prints to earn your points and badges for participating. I'll see you guys next week, and we will be talking about farm animals. Have a great day.